So today on Project Shop, we have an absolute mess going on over here. We got all this wire that I started stripping on that live stream a while back. We got all this stuff I started sorting. You know how the bench always stays with stuff. Then we have this stuff. All this stuff here is ready to go, but I need to process this. We need to start on this. I got to get on these big chunks of aluminum. Now, I just called them and asked them about this stuff. And asked them what they would pay for this billet, and he says they have to shoot it with the gun because it could be a low grade billet and go as like a cast aluminum, and then it'll go up from there. Now, I don't know if they're gonna say anything about the paint, so that's gonna be interesting. Being this came from a hyperbaric chamber, hopefully it's a higher grade aluminum, but we'll have to find out. So this is definitely on the list of things I want to do today because I'm tired of moving it around. Now they did say, I asked them if I was going to have to cut it up. They said as long as it's below 4 feet. I don't know, this is probably pushing it. I might still cut it in half just to expose some good pieces of it. But then out here we have an absolute mess, man. This is just out of hand. We have this stuff to go through. This stuff here just came in. I got a whole bunch of electrical gear. Unfortunately, it's really sad, man. A bunch of aluminum bus bar. Hopefully I get like extruded aluminum for some of it, but it's not looking good, man. You think that's extrusion? Or is that just like a... Matter of fact, while he's shooting that stuff, I'll have him shoot some of this stuff and see what this aluminum stuff goes for. And then we have this whole mess here. This I know is going to be... That's extruded for sure. So is this. But like, what does your yard pay for stuff like that? Would that be clean sheet? Would that be extrusion? Would that be old sheet? Cast? I don't know. We got a bunch of these fuses. 600 amp, you know, we'll just set that up in the jaw, in the vise with the jaw, and liberate that stuff really quick. I think there's a bunch of them throughout here. Got a bunch of breakers, 100 amps. He said these breakers are probably worth some money to someone. I don't know who, but looks like it's got some copper in it. We'll put them you know, to the side. But today I want to at least sort this and this electrical gear, and then work our way into the shop. So while it's cool out, well, somewhat cool, it's still before it's like 9:30 or something, 10 o'clock. Before it gets too hot, around 12, I'm gonna come out here and sort this stuff, see about pulling getting all that stuff out of there. I gotta weigh this stuff and pay the dude for it. He actually went out of his way and dropped this stuff off, so I want to give him a little bit of money for it. A couple little chunks of copper, not much. He said that the feeders, which back in the day, he said that they never allowed them to use aluminum wire as feeders, but they've changed it. Now they're allowing aluminum wire as feeders, which really sucks, man. It's like everything else in this world. It's going cheap and not made to last. And the thing why they changed this out, all this stuff was good, insurance reasons. There's nothing wrong with none of this gear. Insurance said, hey, get this stuff out of here. We got such a mess out here. I got to figure out, I need to get access to my table. Yeah, I don't even want to work outside. I'm going to work in here in the shade. Just thinking about it, it's already warming up. We'll get the workbench cleaned off, and then we'll start processing on this. It's like I'm gonna need a spanner wrench or something. This was the door for the hyperbaric chamber. Pretty interesting stuff, but how easy this is gonna come apart, I have no idea. All right, man, look at that. We have a completely cleared off table, okay? Got my tools sorted on deck. Man, we ready to make a scrap pile. So I got these meter banks. I'm gonna get them up here. I think I've actually done similar ones to this before on the channel. I remember these openings. Now, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure all that's aluminum except for these connections here. That's gonna be copper. And they got a little bit of a little wire. So it's pretty much gonna be sorting this. He said that these breakers here are probably worth money. So we're gonna take care to get these out in a decent manner. I'm not sure how they come out of there. Looks like we're gonna get just a little bit of copper. Pretty sure these are stainless steel. And then, yeah, I'm gonna pay this guy for these, but it ain't gonna be much. Probably gonna buy this as a, I don't even know. I don't even think it's worth buying this as iron and aluminum. I'll probably just buy this at my steel price at like 7 or 8 cents a pound. And then it's gonna be my labor. But all the loose wire, I'll separate that stuff and I'll pay him an insulated wire price for that. I believe I'm getting $2.75 a pound for insulated copper. So I'll probably give him like $2.50 a pound or something. But anytime there's steel involved and labor, even if you're recovering other stuff, man, you want to be paying as low of a price as possible. Now, the good thing about this particular stuff right here, he dropped it off to my shop, which is a rarity for me. So it's nice when scrap just shows up. That's not always the case for me, but I kind of like it. And I'm thinking that I need my own scrap yard, even though I still would probably go out and offer the service. Man, if I just had people dropping scrap off to me, it'd be so much better, so much easier. Anyway, I'm gonna get this on the table, and then I gotta move some stuff out there with the forklift real quick, and then we're gonna get right to it. All right, here we go. So what I'm gonna do, because I want to be as fair as possible with this guy, all this stuff here, like all these nuggets of copper, there's a couple big nuggets of copper wire in here, all the free aluminum, I'm gonna put that, I'm gonna separate that. I'll pay my normal top dollar price that I can pay for that stuff. But anything that's in here, like this wire here, being that it's still connected, that's gonna go with the price I pay for this, because if I gotta put a drill to it, that's my time, that's my labor. I gotta make some money on this deal, you know? So I think I'm gonna pay the dude 8 cents a pound, which is a prepared steel price. Even though there's a lot of aluminum, man, this is some tedious stuff. I'm gonna have some labor here. And there's gonna be some waste. I'm gonna pull these breakers. I don't know if I'm gonna get any money out of these breakers. Well, we'll put them to the side. I'll try to sell them. He said they might be worth a little money. I'll try to sell them. This might be chunks of copper. I don't know. Matter of fact, these holders, they might be worth saving too. But they came out, man, these are heavy. I don't know, man. We might be pulling these apart and pull them silver contacts and put it with my silver contact bucket. These two buckets here are full of silver contacts. These ones here are prepped, ready to get heated and pulled off the copper. There's a nice little chunk here. I might have to do this soon and recover all this copper. We need to get to scrapping. I'm hoping some of this stuff, like that, looks. Let's get a file. Let's just see before we get started, because I'm pretty sure I've done these before. And yeah, that's freaking aluminum, aluminum, aluminum. Aluminum. That's copper. Where does it end? I'm pretty sure the only copper we're gonna get out of this is right there. Hey, what's up, Steve?
Hey, man.
I'm getting ready to do some freaking micro scrapping.
What you got?
What do you think? You got lunch?
Doesn't look like there's much there.
Okay, I'm back at it. That whew, man, I tell you what, ain't nothing like eating a taco salad and then wanting to take a nap and then have to come out here and scrap. You know, I am kind of trying to watch my beautiful figure and trying to diet a little bit. So, you know, I'm like, oh, I better start eating some salads. And then I found the taco salad that I'd never had before. And now that's my new favorite meal. Probably not the best thing for my diet, but hey, it's a salad, right? It's got to be good for you. Anyway, we're gonna start. We're gonna see what it takes to get this out. I'm pretty sure we're gonna try to be gentle with these. Okay. And have a nice little chunk of them. 100 amp breakers are probably not cheap. I'm probably gonna keep these lugs here. You know, stuff like this, like if you had this panel and you burned up your lug and you couldn't find it, you'd have to replace this whole thing. But if you can find the parts, they're worth their weight in gold. They save you a bunch of money. So I think I'm gonna start saving certain things, and just to see, put the feelers out there. See, I guess we're gonna start right here. We get a flathead, my favorite. Woo. See, nice little chunk of wire. Now that wire is going to go into my, I paid a low price for it, wire. We are going to weigh all of this stuff up. Let's see what we got here. More flathead. I need an extension. I'm really digging my little roll around tool cart. Aha. Oh man, that bar goes all the way. That's going to be interesting. Because we got wrong side. I think this is going to be extremely tedious. Oh, no wonder. The tip is broken off. I guess I can regrind that back down. So much aluminum, man. I think them pieces underneath are extrusion though. Or extruded aluminum. Okay. That thing got a little deformed. All right. I might have taken a little bit too much off of it. But look how much shank I have. I can just keep remaking the bit. Wow, that's a little excessive. It's like that big old revolver the Joker pulls out in Batman. Alright, this is going to be fun. Okay. So that does not take it all the way out. I'm going to keep going. I don't know exactly what's holding this thing down at this point. Some glue. What a shame. That's copper. That's freaking aluminum. Okay. Alright. Don't tell me I'm going to have to pull this whole thing out. Aha! Freaking side flatheads. Boy, they don't make nothing easy. I bet you these things were expensive. Even though they're made out of crap aluminum. I'm gonna say that's extruded. That's not bent because that's thicker than that. That was formed like that. And I can see the scrape lines. Someone keeps asking me how to make a video, and I'm gonna have to remember to do this. I'm gonna have to put it on my whiteboard. Make a video on how to determine the different metals. Well, extruded, excuse me, one of the telltale signs is the lines where you can see it was pushed out of the mold. So this is gonna be high-end aluminum at least. I think I get 95 cents a pound. Uh-oh. Oh. Wow. Wow. You pull that off, you still have a Phillips to get to that copper. Oh. Okay, the little tiny spacer is copper. Whoop. And then that is copper. I think that's going to be a metal spring in there, but we're just going to let it slide. And then that's extruded aluminum. All right. Well, this was a small one. I think what I might do, that's garbage. And this is all, I wonder if that's the same grade aluminum. I don't know. All right. I don't know if I want to mess with that. I'll throw that with a cast aluminum. Screws in. Now, the little spacer, that's copper, that's crazy. So underneath these lugs is a little spacer, a little copper spacer. Wow. We're gonna need a copper bucket. This is some serious micro scrapping. You could almost say that's extruded. I don't know. We're gonna get a little pile together since we're gonna have him x-ray those big hyperbaric chamber plates. We'll get a bunch of this stuff together that's questionable and have him shoot it with the gun. Now, let's see what else we got. I'm going to put all these to the side. You see, I've done things like these before where I made a jig for them to sit in. Maybe we'll do the same thing because we're going to have a lot of these by the time we're done. I'm going to start a pile. We're going to need some buckets, man. All right. More flatheads. That's actually pretty heavy. Now I'm on the fence because I'm pretty sure these are probably copper. Yup. And that's going to be a lot of copper weight. Alright, we'll put these to the side and we'll think about it. Complete setup. I mean, it's not really a lot of difference. To me, that's all extrusion there. More flatheads. These are big boy flatheads. What do you guys think of that? I mean, it does have that extruded look where it looks like it was pushed out of a machine. I don't know. We're gonna try. Okay. I'm gonna go find some buckets. You know, we got these little things, and then that's pretty much it. These here, those are copper, those are copper, and then this is all aluminum. That's all, that's definitely extruded. That's some dense stuff right there. Oh, we got one more thing here. Dag, to get these off, I gotta loosen each one up. Okay. I always sell them as extrusion. And the rest of that, I'm not even going to disconnect these from each other. I'm going to do this next one, then I'll flip it around. And yeah, so I'm going to go find some buckets. Now that we know how to get it apart, it's just going to be pretty much a tedious run. I'll try to do as much as I can. Actually, if I turn it around now, I can probably get all three facing the other direction. And you just stick with one drill, do as much as you can, and should come apart pretty easy. Okay, I'm actually gonna have to call this. I wind up having to go do something real quick, and then I wind up editing the video, and then it just got late, and I have to get up super early and go to Miami tomorrow. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll continue messing with this tomorrow when I get back from Miami. Hopefully I get down there and back in a reasonable amount of time. I got Oliver coming in on Saturday. So we should be able to knock out the absolute mess that is in front of my shop. But since I got to get up really early and drive really far south, I'm going to wrap this up, get a decent night's sleep, because the next 3 days is going to be crazy. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay, it's another day, and we have an absolute mess here. We got Oliver here. We're going to clean some wire, strip all them spools. This is the remnants from that 5-hour live stream I did a while back. Big nuggets of silver. Gonna add all them. I'm gonna keep all them plates aside to add to my silver contact. Maybe later tonight I'll, I mean, that's a lot of weight in copper. So I wanna either fire up the kiln or fire up the incinerator and heat those. I want to preheat those things. I'll probably use the kiln, preheat them up. That way they can stay warm inside there and I can pull a couple out at a time and then hit them with the fire. And then we have this absolute mess that we need to sort through all this stuff out here. Just pallets of crap. And hopefully get on this today. I got to get this stuff out of here. We will be sorting through the rest of this electrical gear. And then this, I was looking at this. This thing has some really big, thick plates of steel. I'm going to salvage all that steel. Maybe use one of them big plates to cover the giant freaking pothole that I have going on over here. I think what I'm going to do is clean this up. Just go get some dirt from that pile here and level it off so it's level. Put just a bigger plate here because this is getting bad. I'm going to hit a time lapse while Oliver cleans that stuff up and I get sorted. We've got a whole bin of copper to go through. All this stuff. It really is getting out of hand over here. Okay, we got our modified This was actually from a home gym setup that I got out of a mansion. I modified it to run spools. We got our big spool rod. I think we're only gonna need that once, but just this little all thread's doing good for the majority of what we need. Let's get our gantry. All right, man, we got this bin here. We got this pallet. Now, we're not gonna strip all of this wire. We'll probably strip the easy stuff like the solid core and then anything that's like this size. But some of the smaller stuff, I'm just gonna off it as #1 insulated. The percentage and the time, it's not really worth it. So as we run through here, I'll be throwing some stuff in this bin. And hopefully we'll get a nice little chunk of copper. All right, this is pretty much where I'm calling it at this size here. We'll strip all this stuff, like this white wire, but that smaller stuff, you can see, pretty much it, man. It's too tedious. We'll run through this real quick, and then we'll pull all that BX out. The solid core, it's a decent size. Probably not gonna strip the Romex. I'll just sell that as #1 insulated. And then, yeah, we should have a nice chunk. Stuck. Should be having a nice little chunk of wire by the end of the day. Need more weight. All right, we're gonna time lapse the rest of this stuff, so I can listen to some tunes, and then we'll get on this stuff. Hopefully we'll get to this aluminum wire to get that out of my life. All right, so we stripped just about everything we're gonna strip. This is the stuff we're not stripping. There might have been a few little stragglers in there that we could have stripped, but it's all short pieces, and we're moving on. We had a massive amounts of needles. Obviously someone didn't have the machine dialed in, and we needled the heck out of that copper. Either way, I'll still get some bright and shiny for that. We got, probably not going to get to this today, nice little chunk. What we are going to get to is all this BX cable. We'll pull all this out, stretch it out down here, and strip it, and I think that's going to be it for today. I made many videos on the BX. The main thing about BX, to get it off easy, you want to be very careful not to kink the wire, okay? And a good pair of Kleins or Lyman's. And I like, because you're pulling it off the aluminum, I like to keep it around 20 feet or less. Oh, it's got dirt in there. Look at all that dirt. And this is a high grade aluminum. So you definitely want to keep that separate. I don't know why they call it, in my yard they call it mixed low copper clips, or MLC, something like that. I've always been a big advocate for having a vise right next to the wire strip. Now this, not only does it have the aluminum case, it has a plastic sheathing in there. Sometimes if you get kinks or hard spots, what you want to do is twist this stuff, kind of unlocks it. Okay, so unfortunately, sorry, this vise doesn't have enough weight. It's not locked. Usually I have a bar like clamped to here and a vise on there. We're gonna, actually the vise that's at the end of the tape. But the next step, you're gonna wanna drill, and it makes it so much easier to have this. You don't wanna be trying to unwind this stuff by hand. And main thing is keep the ends even, okay? Make sure your drill is pulled tight. There it is. It's like the easiest thing in the world. Not only did it unwrap and straighten itself, it unraveled all that. Now, for me, the last step is to bend this back straight, okay? Because the way I do this, the way we're gonna do this right now is, we're gonna put multiple pieces in there. We're probably gonna do like 4 or 5 at once, stretch them out, pull it, and do it all like that. Your ends are probably all going to be different lengths, so you're going to always want to grab it from here. It just makes everything a little simpler, especially if you got a lot of it and you're going to be doing this with 2 people. And then now that your ends are straight, now that's some really long pieces. You want to get right on top of this and pull this. Now this is stripping right off, so this, you can just pull it right down into the barrel, but you don't want a big mess of pieces more than 20 feet. If you keep it around 10 foot, it's not bad, but this solid core can be a nightmare. So we're gonna get back on the time lapse, stretch this stuff out, and get our last little nugget of copper. All right, here we go. That is one solid, big old nugget there. All solid core. There is that one big giant thing had a little bit of stranded, but we'll let it slide. This is gonna strip really fast. Ready? All right, that's it. So we got our, hey. We can't be selling bright and shiny. Oh, I know what happened there. All right. I'm going to get these drums out of here, get a weigh in on them, see where we're at, see if we made any money today, and then that's gonna be it. Get are them bags ready, or is it all the full bags in the truck? Yeah, okay. gotta fix that clamp. Sideways. Oh, there you go. 190. Gain weight, bro. Better go on a diet. $203? 103. 103. Yeah. $384? Okay, we weighed that up at about 355 pounds. Now, I had paid $700 for all this stuff, and I just found a couple more spools in the back of my truck. You know, it's a couple pounds, but we had basically $200, $199.80. and number one insulated that we're not going to sell or strip. Then 355 pounds, 380 pound, 1349 bright and shiny for 1548, which is more than double my money, minus the 700. So I had 848, and I'm gonna say $200 for labor. Fuel cost me like 80 bucks, $60, $70 or something like that in fuel. A couple little stragglers around here I'll clean up, and I still have probably, I don't even know, maybe 50, 60 pounds, another 50 bucks in aluminum. That'll take no time at all to strip. And there was something else I grabbed when I was over there. And then I have I had 6 hours, and then me and Oliver just put about, we did a couple things before we started. I think we probably got a good 4 or 5 hours, you know, so we probably got 12 hours, and that's, you know, that's what me, 6 hours of me going to get it, 2 hours one way, 2 hours back, and, you know, let's just figure 2 hours messing around, loading it and unloading it over here. So that's not bad. A lot of spaghetti wire, but, you know, oh yeah, and we got the BX, the aluminum from the BX. I don't think that's gonna be that much, but that last little bit went pretty quick, and that was a nice little chunk to kind of finish it off. That's gonna be it for this video. I have so much scrap to go through. It's crazy. It's a mess out here, and I'm supposed to go pick up more scrap and some other things. So if you come this far, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, because tomorrow I'm going to be loading all this stuff up to take it to Miami, and I want to make sure that I have like close to $4,000. I think I am at, if that's 15, I got 15 probably already processed. We're going to have to come up with another $1,000, which I don't think is a, I mean, we just mill around this shop long enough, dude, we'll come up with $1,000. There's trinkets and nuggets and stuff everywhere, so stay tuned for all that. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. Dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before? Tipping this stuff. Woo! God, that's tough.